Hey y'all, I'm going to start here with a reading of just ahead of Infinize. One of the commenters mentioned this song, and it's a totally beautiful Wayne Shorter ballad, second only to, in my opinion, to Teru, which I played yesterday, and I'm going to do some soloing on it. I have a backing track that I made, but so first of all, here's a little arrangement of Infinize. I remember this was, I think, the first song that I tried to learn, and I had that the jazz piano book by Mark Levine, and he shows an arrangement of it, and so I got some of these voicings from that, and at least the first couple, and I don't remember the entire arrangement, but he's got some interesting voicings here. So here we go. So let's see. This voicing is cool for a D7 altered. Just like, it's like this chord. And then I guess everyone knows this voicing, this G minor at 9. But I thought it was interesting that this voicing is in that book because it's really hard to play on guitar. It's almost impossible, but I like it because it has a minor ninth interval hidden in there. I dig it. This chord right here is a little point of departure. Talk about some Messiaen mode 2 voicings and lines. So this is, when these chords come up occasionally where you get like an A13 with a flat 9. And although you can substitute any dominant chord quality over that you want, that voicing specifically is built from Messiaen mode 2, otherwise known as the diminished scale, the double diminished scale, the Bartok scale, the octatonic scale. Like I said, Messiaen mode 2, so of course everything has to have like 5 different names, but it's just this scale that is half steps and whole steps alternating, like going up a string position. So as with anything, it has a lot to do with the quality of material that you have within that scale. Like how maybe like one artist, you can give him a pencil and he can draw some lines, but they're more like scribbles. And then maybe someone else can draw some lines and make like a beautiful piece of art. So, you know, it just makes a big difference, the quality of the material that you're playing within the scale. It's not really enough to just know the scale. So what I'm going to do here is just give you, I guess, a bunch of my best Messiaen Mode 2 material. So we'll start off with just this kind of lick that I came up with. So you can kind of freely, you know, I was trying to take the lick and take it in different directions and make things out of it. Basically, you have these stacks of fourths that are ascending in minor thirds, and this is sometimes called flip-flopping, where you reverse the direction of the interval every time. So this is like, you know, a lot of good jazz lines change direction constantly. So but anyway, yeah, so you'd have like there's different ways to flip-flop it, but so we have like so another way to flip-flop it would, in just the fourths, would be like but yeah, so and up here you get into this part. It's going over this chord. Let's see. Another really good one that I like a lot. I think this pattern actually comes from Bar Talk, and the pianist Kenny Kirkland uses this line, and then he showed it to a really great jazz musician that I know named Philippe View, and Philippe showed me this lick, so it traveled along those lines, and it goes like this. That's it. Now, and you know, since this scale is symmetrical by minor thirds, it moves all over the neck. So you could start it here and take it down. So this is one way to move it down. Let's say, and then in a second I'll do it in position. But so I think this is less sophisticated than learning to play a pattern in a position. It's much harder. But this is kind of like a hack, a shortcut way to do it. And if you're trying to get down the neck, you know, this helps. But so yeah, so you just take that lick and move it down in minor thirds. It's like a little cell that moves around. Now we're going to take a really challenging thing to do with it, which is really useful. You know, I really like to play in position because I don't like to be having to chase the chord changes all over the neck. when they're all available in one position. Like sometimes, for example, if I'm playing in like E minor, and then the chord says the next chord is like F minor 7, I'll stay in like the same position. So you can play in all 12 keys in like one position, and makes it super helpful to like navigate through chord changes. So, but yeah, so this lick going down in minor thirds in position. It's tricky. So a lot of times you only need a couple of repetitions of a cell to get through to the next chord, because in jazz very rarely does the chord stay put for very long. So in the case of this song, Infinize, now the tempo is so slow, you probably could get four times through this pattern. And then it's easy. But it's crazy because every time I go down a minor third, it has a different configuration of notes on the fretboard and a totally new fingering. But this is the perfect kind of thing that builds up your brain, the strength of your brain, and keeps you, on your toes, and you have to keep your wits about you when you're trying to play this kind of music. So already we have kind of some cool stuff that we can work with just out of these two licks. It could be a bass line. Let's see what else. I'm trying to think of other diminished. Okay, maybe I'll just kind of play around in the scale. You don't always have to have a pattern. Like here's some just playing that doesn't really, I'm just picking out one note at a time and trying to make something out of it. Takes all of the parallel fourths in here. Here, one of the fourths, one of the quote-unquote fourths of the diminished scale is a major third. Actually 4 notes apart in the scale, so you would have like... Flip-flop that. Let's see, here's a weird arpeggio. So if you take all those fourths and just stack them diatonically of Messiaen mode 2, I'm going to start on this B flat, you would get this. Which is a crazy arpeggio. to it. Hold on. That's it. So very quickly you can get into some really interesting, strange arpeggios. Let's see. I wanted to talk a little bit about tone production here. This is something I've been thinking about lately because, I know some jazz musicians that are very legit that studied with classical musicians, and the classical musicians taught the jazz musicians here at the University of Texas. It's the sax player. I can't think of his name right now. And this is something I've also heard about singing, like opera singing and so forth, is that you want to accent the second partial of the note. Try to pull out the second harmonic. So what that means is, like, if I have, let's say, this E note, that's the fundamental frequency, and then if I, this is the first partial right here, the first harmonic, and then the second partial, which is what our target is, it's actually right about here. So it's like this nice low harmonic. It's not the lowest one, it's the second lowest one. So I would say try to pull out that harmonic, pick over that area, and rather than go for a pure harmonic, try to get like the fundamental note, like an even blend of the fundamental frequency and the second partial. So if I'm like up here in the 12th position, the second partial is roughly like in this area right behind the pickup. I guess if I'm down here in the 7th position, I don't really go pick all the way down at the 24th, which is where the second partial is. So I guess I'm playing the third one, which is good too. But generally, if you hang right up around here with your pick, it's really good harmonics, and then that just enhances your tone. Another thought is, like, okay, I've been using these picks. Of course, this is worn off. It's like a Jim Dunlop with the turtle on it. It's a jazz, one of their like jazz picks, which I don't normally like. I don't love small picks, but I started using this one. I noticed that it's not beveled. So a pick that is not beveled has sharp edges. I'm not talking about like the point of the pick. I mean, like along the edge. Since it's not beveled, you have this nice kind of sharp edge, and that really helps you with articulation. So I've been really like trying to, it's almost like cutting the string like a knife or something, but with still with a light motion, with a light attack, but those are two things that I've been kind of concentrating on. It's just trying to hit the blend the harmonics, usually the second partial, and then play along that sharp edge of the pick, like driving it straight into the string, like, and kind of slicing into the string, and it helps you play real clean when you, especially if you have like a lot of distortion and stuff. Thank you. going to mess around with this, these infinized changes. I'm just going to sort of play on each chord, and maybe you'll be able to hear those changes going by in the lines. I discovered this a while back on playing Wayne Shorter tunes and soloing on any kind of melodic minor harmony or a major scale harmony. I have basically two methods that are really simple, and for some reason they don't teach this at school, not that I've ever heard of. Sometimes I show this to people that are educated musicians, unlike myself, and like I have one friend in particular that graduated from a super prestigious conservatory and hadn't heard of this before. It's just something that I kind of discovered, but it's interesting because you don't use any licks, scales, arpeggios. There's no like patterns necessarily. It's this thing that I just call triadic construction. So it's like you use the notes of a triad and color it with the extensions around it, and just try to speak a language of, the goal is to speak a language of pure melody. So for example, with this G minor 7 chord here, I would consider that an F triad. So if you see a minor 7 chord, think down a whole step, Ionian mode, and major triad. You can even skip notes of the triad, like to get a stronger sound than a triad, you leave out the third. That always sounds real thematic, it sounds like you're playing like a, you notice a lot of, themes in movies and TV shows and stuff, they have this kind of, they'll do like a root and fifth kind of thing. So that's what I try to think all the time. It's like you have one mode of thought, and it's just play melody. So if I'm playing in a G minor 7 chord, so here's an F note, so we're going to use an F triad, and then the notes around the F triad. Think of TV theme songs, think of Andy Griffith, Leave It to Beaver, stuff like that. This is gonna save you when you're trying to navigate through these songs that have really hard constant modulations, and you need to get to the center of each chord right away and play something that's just really clear and resonant. And basically everything else is is of limited, if any, use. So G, and over that, you know. After a while, it just rolls off your, rolls off your imagination, and you don't have to even really think. So a lot of times I'm not even, in fact, I don't really think when I play. I go into playing these tunes without any kind of plan, and I just feel my way through one note at a time. So that's how you can do it with no arpeggios, licks, scales, anything like that. You know, play a little bit on the chord, and then the chord changes to something else. So you never really have that long to play on each chord. You don't need, you hardly need any vocabulary. It's kind of a crazy thing. You can play all this jazz without knowing like licks and stuff. So yeah, so. Okay, so then, yeah, that's the first two chords, G minor and F minor. So I start with an F triad. Move it down to an E flat triad. For the F minor chord. And then when it hits an E flat, when you see a major 7 chord, you use this triadic construction idea down a fourth from that chord. So if I see an E flat chord, mentally I'm kind of thinking of a B flat major triad. It eliminates the real need for tons of chromaticism. You know, a lot of people associate jazz with lots of constant chromaticism. But this kind of material, I kind of prefer it. I like that other stuff too. So especially if you're trying to play a ballad, you know, you need just strong melodic material, and you need to play only what you would sing. You have like, you know, ideas that just should pop into your head without you really having to think of them. It's very relaxing. You can play it without having to, you know, think about what you're going to be doing next. I will think about like what the next chord is, because you can get caught off guard if you're not thinking ahead in that way. But just in terms of like, you know, so seeing an E flat major chord. So you can use all these really folk-like simple melodies, and they don't sound folk-like or simple when you're superimposing them over a different chord. So, you know, like this material being played over B flat chord. Sounds different than being played over an E flat chord. Okay, so yeah, the next chord is that A flat, A7, 13 flat 9. So these chords, you think of this triad, it's actually on top of the chord. And then use the other notes of the scale to as like the extensions. Rip a big, F sharp major triad. That'll sound great over this chord. Go get up and hit the root. It's nice and clear. Use the lick. Let's see, G flat major 7, sometimes called the mystical chord, you know, this shape. So again, a major chord, you go down a fourth, or up a fifth, and you get the same note. But that's where the triad, like I said, everything is triadically constructed. So to me, this chord is this triad. So D flat major. And I do have kind of convert that in my head when I'm playing and I see this chord. I am thinking to myself, oh, if there is anything in my head, it's D flat, So. Even when you're doing chromatic passing tones, they're still linked to this triad. And even when you take it a step further and you start playing some really outside stuff, and with a lot of chromatic passing tones and everything, it's still, the framework underneath it all is still just a triad. So it's a powerful tool. So then we have C minor 7 over F. So what is that? That's you ignore the bass note is not important. If you're the soloist, you're looking at the chord on top, C minor 7. So this is a cool trick. I think of the minor chord is just it's just the one chord. It's just an extension of the one chord. So if I just had like a B flat minor or a B flat major chord, and then I move my one finger like this, think of that chord mentally when you're soloing on it. Because the goal, like I said, is to have everything really clear, like a bell. So you're naturally dancing on all the extensions of the chord. When if it says C minor, then you think down a whole step Ionian. So I have this voicing, like I said, it's kind of a combination of the two. You have C minor on the bottom and B flat major on top. So I can play a lot of lines without any chromatic, anything. I like, and with bigger intervals and stuff. You can still use scales. I like to run up to like a note on top or something. But that's not really necessarily part of a melody. It's just like maybe I'm only thinking of this one note. You just do a little run up and land on the note. Just to keep it exciting. And next chord is E flat minor 7. So down a whole step major is D flat major. That's a good line. Having a triad in the line, anytime you can put that in there, makes it really strong. F minor over B flat. So there's a lot of these, they're called sus chords. So if you take a minor chord like F minor and put it over a B flat note, it's still an F minor 7 chord, F Dorian, but it's has a different sound because there's a different note in the bass. It doesn't affect your note choices as a soloist. So that would still be E flat major. So this is like a totally different way of thinking, because a lot of people, they see an F minor chord, they will think like F minor blues. which is cool. Those are good. Those are useful things. I use a lot of blues, and it's super important to have that in your bag. But for this purpose, I tend to like, here's like the blues scale. I tend to go off one step in the scale. So you got E flat major. So then the next chord is B flat altered. And this will be the last chord I talk about because I don't want this video to be too long. I apologize if it's boring, but this is actually all you need to play these really cool tunes. This kind of language of pure melody, triadic construction. You don't need licks and patterns, or it's not about like practicing scales or arpeggios. This is like a different mode of thought that a lot of people just never discover it. But so like for a B flat 7 altered chord, you see right on top there's this triad. So you use triadic construction over all melodic minor modes as well, and they all have the same formula, which is find the 5th mode of the key that you're in. So for example, B flat altered is the 7th mode of melodic minor. So first I locate the 1st mode, and then I go up a 5th, and that gives me the 5th mode, and that tells me what triad to use. So on an altered chord, the root of it is the 3rd of the triad, so that's like a little mental shortcut you can. It sounds nice to just use the triad. The other extensions though from the melodic minor scale are like this. You take the first 5 notes of the major scale off of the 5th degree of the key that you're in. So and then to fill in between the root and the 5th, it's like a minor scale. So there's a flat 6 and a flat 7 and then the 5th. But so then your notes, your available notes are like so to play with those notes more freely, so you have the triad as the center, and you have the extensions. It's just like humming or whistling. It's not very difficult to think of these lines. I'm working out of a different position here with the same idea. So we got a G flat pentachord with minor on top. I'm constantly referencing that triad. Because it's so natural. So pretty cool. I mean, you get see a B flat 7 altered chord. And you just move up into this. You can kind of burn over this triad. It keeps you really close to just singable melodies. This is a nice line right here. I'm going to show this in another video, but I'll do it again because it's kind of a go-to thing for altered dominant chords. So one of the things that's equivalent to the dominant chord modally within the melodic minor scale is, really any of the other arpeggios that come from the scale. So one of them is go down a whole step from the root and play a half diminished. And then, and that's right here too. And then another one would be going up to the third and playing major 7 sharp 5. So actually starts on the 7th. This is like a cool jazz lick that I got from the pianist Donald Brown. That's all it is. I did it in 2 octaves. But yeah, so you hit this B flat alter chord, then your B note. Now I'm back in the triad mode. So even these other things down here, though, they have some kind of relationship to the triad I was talking about. That's like, okay, I'll break it down. It's an F sharp scale, but here you can hear I'm just playing off of the second mode of that. So it's like it's something that's designed to oscillate back and forth with the G flat major sound. You have G flat major and A flat half diminished. It's not really a different chord. And then this one, all it is you're taking the G flat triad, the main triad of the scale, and adding this flat 6 note to it. Up here it would look like this if I started this arpeggio up here. See, I'm always close to this G flat triad though, and I always grab onto the notes of that and try to build a singable melody. Takes very little effort. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching the video, and I hope you learned some cool stuff. We'll see you soon.